In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew this simple short skirt designed with sequins disc and tassels. So if this is a tutorial you're interested in, please like this video, share this video with your friends and community, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. So guys, I'm making two of the skirts, and the only difference between these two is what I used to design it. So I have my Mikado fabric here. For the pink skirts, I'm using the sequence disc to design it. So I have two sizes here, but I later end up using the bigger size alone. So the smaller size, I did not bother to use the smaller size since the bigger size were enough and the color matches the Mikado properly. So the number of yards I have here is 1.5 yards. I have 1.5 yards because I'll be using the same fabric to line the skirt. So I'm not adding another lining. I'm using the same fabric to line the skirt. I'll also be using my zipper, and what else do I need? I think that's all. And again, we need a facing for the band. So that's all. So let's start with the drafting. You can actually cut this directly on the skirt, but for some people to understand better, I'll be drafting the pattern. So for the length of your skirt, if your skirt's length, that is from your waist to your knee, is about 23 inches, I would advise you go up by at least 3 inches or even 5 or 6, depending on how short you want it, because this kind of skirt must not get to your knee. At least it must be 3 inches above your knee. So after that, you locate your hip length. So that's my hip length over there. Then because I'll be using a band of 1.5 inches, I remove 1.5 inches at the top. So this line right here is my hip line. So this line here is the waistline after I've removed the 1.5 inches for the band. So that's the measurement over there. On the waistline, I'll measure my waist divided by 4. So I'll measure my waist divided by 4, then I'll be adding that. You can actually sew this skirt without a dart, but for it to have a better fitting, I would advise you use a dart. So I added 1 inch for my dart allowance over there. So this is my hip line, and I'll measure my hip divided by 4. Because this skirt is not a fitted skirt, it is a little bit free at the hip. So I'm adding additional 1 inch just to make the hip bigger. So the hip is bigger. So I added 1 inch to make the hip bigger. That is, this is not fitted at the hip area, it has some ease allowance there. So the next thing to do is to connect this straight downward. You can just measure what you have at the hip, then you measure it at the end of the skirt like this. So this is what I have. Another thing you can do is just to add extra half inch at this point, so that the skirt is not just straight, it's like a little bit free. Will I call it like an A shape at this point? This is optional. You can just make it straight down since we've added ease allowance at the hip already. So anyone you choose to do, just connect it downward. So now to locate my dart, I'll measure my nipple to nipple measurement. That is my bust span divided by 2 plus half inch. I'll locate the point, then I'll measure about 5 inches for the length of my dart. Then I'll just really line. Then I'll measure the dart. So I'm done with the dart. Let me label what I have. So this is my waist, this is my hip, and this is the skirt length, which is about, I think for this client I went up about 3 inches because she does not want it to be too short, and also it must not get to the knee. So I just went up by 3 inches. So guys, we will not be cutting the back pattern for the skirt. We're just using this front to also cut the back. This is just to save our pattern paper. So the only difference that will be between the front and the back will just be the zipper allowance that we'll be adding. So now let's go ahead and transfer this on the fabric. So now this is the back bodice. So I've placed my pattern on it. So if you notice, I did not add sewing allowance at the end over there at the hemline of the skirt. This is because I cut this on fold, so I don't need to sew that part. So if you'll be joining yours, please add the hemming allowance. add the joining allowance. We will be turning this, so just add the joining allowance. But because I cut this on fold, you will understand better very soon. I cut it on fold, so I don't need to sew that part there. And this is the back. As you can see that I added the zipper allowance to one side, and for the other side I added the sewing allowance. So this is one side of the back, and this is the other side of the back. So I'll go ahead and close up this zipper allowance side, and also this side, the center back, and also the side back. So this is the front, and this is cut. So this is how this is. So the next thing I'll also do now is to close the side of the front. And after closing the side, I'll go ahead and also take the dart. So this is the front, and this is how this also looks. So for the lower part also, I cut it on fold, so I don't need to join the lower part, which is the hemline of the skirt. So I make sure that I folded it at that part. So this is how it looks like. So the half inch at the top, there's an half inch at the top, so which is the joining allowance, and for the side I have just 1 inch that I'll be using to join the skirts, that is the back and the front together. So now this is the band for the skirts. I've went ahead to cut it out, and I've also added my stay to it, and I've also went ahead to fold it. We are working with 1.5 inches band, so what I cut out here was 4 inches. So this is 1.5, but when you open it up and measure everything all together, you should have 4 inches. Should have 4 inches over there. So after folding and all, you'll be left with 1.5. So this is the skirt. I've went ahead to join the side, and I've also went ahead to also measure my darts. That is to sew the dart. So what I will do next is to insert the skirts inside. This is how I want to fix my band. So I'll just sew on top, like close to the edge right there. So I'll also do the same thing too for the back. I'll place this in between. So this band are more than the actual waist, so I'll be cutting away the excess I have when I'm done. After sewing and cutting away the excess, this is what it looks like, and I'll just go ahead and join the skirts on both sides and at the center back too. So for the center back, we'll be adding a zipper, so I'll be leaving the space. The space I'll be using to join the zipper, I will leave it. So you should measure about 8 to 9 inches. So I'll be using about 8 inches for my zipper space right here. So from that point downward, I'll go ahead and just join it. Then I will join the back to the front. So after joining the side, I have also went ahead to give this a good press. So this is what I have. Then I'll go ahead and fix the zipper. So for this skirt, you can actually add structure to this skirt. So if you want a tutorial of the skirt that has a structure, you can let me know. But this one does not have any structure. We can also sew this skirt and add some structure to it. So if you want that tutorial, you can just let me know. So after fixing the zipper, this is what my skirt is looking like. This is what it is looking like. It is looking very perfect and very fine already. So this is what the skirt looks like after ironing it. So the next thing I will do is to design the skirt with my Sequins Disc. You can actually use anything you want. Like for the blue one, I used a tassel to design it. But for this one, she wanted a sequence for it. So she actually told me to mix the small and the big sequence together. But looking at the big and the small sequence, I noticed it was not giving what it was supposed to give. So I later end up using only the big sequence. So I used only the big sequence, and this was because this big sequence was more than enough. It was more than enough for the skirt. So I just decided to use the big sequence alone for the skirt. Let me know in the comment section, would you have mixed the two sequence together, or you would have also just used the bigger one alone? Let me know in the comment section. And the reason why I did not even use a smaller sequence was because the color was kind of different from the skirts. So it will look odd, and it is now even small again. So I just decided to remove the smaller ones and focus on the bigger ones. So after you are done arranging your sequence, the way you want it to look like, the next thing is to just tack it down. So there is always O on the sequence, so you go ahead and just tack it down. Make sure it is not too tight so that the sequence can fall. Make sure you don't make it too tight, and secure it very well. Secure it very, very well. So after you are done, make sure to just cut off the thread. So this is how I'll be fixing every single sequence that I'll be fixing. So after fixing, this is what I have. Like I said, I use only the bigger ones, and I still have one left because of the way I arranged it. So this is what the skirt looks like, and I love the skirt. Like is an understatement. I love the skirt, and this is what the outcome looks like. It looks really, really nice and very perfect. This video is not even doing justice to the beauty of the skirt. You need to see the skirt in person because it's very, very beautiful and very, very nice. So this is what the outcome looks like. So let me know what you think about the skirt in the comment section, and if you want the one with the structure, also let me know. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any question for me, let me know in the comment section, and if you haven't liked this video, please like, comment, share, and also subscribe to this channel. Thank you.